Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's November and it's all about Thanksgiving. In this series, I bring people to you that I'm very grateful for that help pull Empowered by Finda together behind the scenes.
Six mil bit. If you cry, man, you go fly. Cause there's no smile on the rise. Get your eyes on the prize.
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Finda, your empowered guide in business, fitness, and fragrance. Guys, I'm really grateful for being here in the month of November. Before I even go into what this segment is all about, I want to say, guys, thank you so much for last month. If you were not able to catch up with any of the videos that I made, it was really, really fun. I did fall foods that went all over Jersey, just giving you different ways exactly how you can still eat, live better, not even just at home, but around the world. That's what my concept is all about. It's actually showing people exactly that living healthy is a lifestyle. It's not, I don't, when it comes to the nutrition part, I don't show you how to diet. I show you how to live a proper, like just a lifestyle. You're not being restrained, you're learning exactly how to live better. So that being said, if you have not watched any of the videos at all, you guys can click any of the buttons above. You can watch, I had 3 parts of that, which was fantastic. And today I'm actually very excited. Very, very excited for today's video. It's November. In America, we have Thanksgiving, and it's crazy because I grew up, you guys know by now, my father was a minister, and he taught me everything starts from God giving grace. And really, really colorful background that I have, being familiar with like the Islam part and also went to Catholic schools and also my dad being a minister. Everything starts with you saying thanks to God. So I wanted to take this month of November to just say thank you to people who created I would say behind the scenes for me. You guys are seeing how much I'm growing now on YouTube, but without people playing like their own parts in my life, that would have been a thing at all. So I'm just really grateful to bring you guys the part 1, and is by family. I come from a very, very creative family. So today I was actually going to have 2 of my brothers. They were going to be with me today. The other one really couldn't make. We had schedule conflicts, but it's all good. But I have one today. You guys are really going to enjoy this conversation because we have such a deep, even work history together. So it's going to be fantastic. So with that being said, if you guys have not yet subscribed to the channel, please click and subscribe so we can actually help each other grow. That being said, guys, thank you. And I want to welcome you to this episode of saying thanks. Grateful. Everything starts with Thanksgiving. And this is my younger brother, one of them. He goes by Tambamusic. So introduce yourself, Tamba. Hey, how are you doing?
Obviously, thanks for the invite. Thanks for having me. But yeah, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world when you watch this. Appreciate you guys tuning in and checking out my sister's amazing work here. Really looking forward to having this conversation. It's been a while since we were connected on this level, so really excited for that. So thanks for having me.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, as he said, it's been a while. Like, guys, I have like this, since he's had much more really great independent music, like really, really great. I'm not just saying that because I'm being biased because I'm his sister. I also worked as his manager. So I'm actually really familiar with like just the work ethic and just the style that he does. And the reason why he's actually on here today, if you guys do not know, because I said music, he actually is the one who created the theme music to Empowered, the music that you hear in the beginning of my videos and the music you hear when I'm closing out. I reached out to him one day saying, hey, I need something to come together. I need something for people come to my channel for them to feel like, oh man, look at the brand completely. I understand exactly what she's trying to do, what she's doing here. So I said, can you create something for me? And it just so happened to be that he had something already like in his arsenal. He goes, I have something that will work. So he sent me like 3 different things. But the very first one I actually heard was exactly what I'm using today. It just seemed like it was tailor-made for me. And I'm glad that he knows like my aesthetic. He knows exactly what my message is. And he had some things like, I got you. So that's one of the things why I brought him on. And I wanted to know, like, yeah, like let people know a little bit more about your music background, what it is that you do.
A little bit more about what you just said too with the song and how it matched with the intro. It's because there's always this sync. There's always this connection where the message, the work, everything kind of it matches because it goes back to the cultural aspect of things. So it made sense that, funny enough, I was just in the midst of putting that song together and getting it out there and pushing it. And once you hit me up about, hey, I want to get some sort of an intro music, it made sense because that's literally where I was at as well too, as far as my messaging, as far as, what I'm trying to do. So it just reminded me that no matter what we do, the one thing that always, obviously dad always taught us is, walking side by side, making sure that we are constantly checking on each other. We are constantly you know, our rhythm remains the same. And that's literally what happened with the whole opportunity there for you saying, hey, I need a song. And I'm like, hey, well, here you go. And it worked out perfectly. Like you said, the first song you heard was like, okay, this is it. So it was one of those cool reminders. But for me specifically, my music has evolved quite a bit over several years. I came up in heavy hip hop. I'm a 90s hip hop kid. I'm a heavy lyrical substance, that type of person. That's where I came from. And obviously, when I discovered my love for music, I leaving West Africa, leaving Sierra Leone, and coming over to Harrisburg, I discovered at a time where, it was just focused on the Western world that I was in, focused on the neighborhoods that I was walking in, focused on the people that I was seeing every day. And it really became very, very dominantly just Western hip hop. But over the course of time, I've taken the opportunity to really just reflect, figure out who I am, figure out my identity, figure out my balance. And the music has shifted to a much more Afro pop, hip hop. There's still heavy hip hop because I am a lyricist. I'm an MC. But there's a sound around it now where it captures home, where it captures, our people, where it captures, the love, the culture and everything like that. So it's a balance now. I feel like I'm in a much better place musically, artistically than I've ever been before. Because if you were to listen to a decade's worth of my music, you will actually go through the transition. You will see it from where it started to where it is now. And that's what I love about the opportunities I've had so far to work with people who, even some of the people I'm working with are home. They're back home. And, whether it's, a producer, whether it's, an engineer, everything is back home. I'm here cooking up the lyrics, cooking up the foundation, cooking up the concepts in America based off of my experiences and also what I know about back home. And I send it back home and they basically finish it off. So there's an entire network now where it's two completely different countries, completely different continents, basically coming up with these songs and creating this one package and giving it to the world. So I feel like it's exactly where I need to be as an artist, where exactly where I need to be as a man, as a father, as a husband, and all that stuff is just basically in a unified place right now, really balanced.
I love like what you said. I'm going to actually go back in the beginning. You mentioned first how our father literally always used to tell us, you can't succeed without each other. So he
Right?
always said that to us. It was always a thing. As a younger girl, I'm like, okay, I didn't want to hear that at all. But
Yeah.
it's so true. It's really well connected because what I needed to actually kind of propel my channel, my brand to the next level, literally he had what I needed. And even when it comes to my brother who's not here, like the photos you see on my homepage, he created those photos for me. So everything is like a well, I would say moving engine. And also when it comes to my brother, the part about him discovering who he is as a lyricist, as a creator, as an artist, it's because it was like the same thing for me when it came to the beginning of Empowered. I thought you guys are familiar with the story that I literally started first with just the product part. So I was trying to mimic everybody else. I mimicked everybody else for such a long time, and I was forgetting who I was in the back burner. But even though when the concept came to me to actually create a brand called Empower, the whole thing was for me to share my story that I am the brand. So I didn't think that I was strong enough to be the brand. I thought what things that are out there is what I'm supposed to do. But when I started tapping more into who I am is literally when I started actually growing on YouTube, literally when I started growing like on LinkedIn and everything else. Like to just piggyback on what he said, when you actually kind of find there is that peace there, right? I don't know if you can relate to this. There's that peace when you feel like I don't have to chase somebody else's idea. I can actually just do exactly what it is that I'm supposed to do because there's only one you. So you don't have to do anything. You just have to do your own thing. It's so awesome when people actually just know you because you're only one Tamba, really, when it comes to like, well, in this country at least, there's a bunch of us back home. Like, there's only one you, but you have like that I would say that footprint, that blueprint that people know your music, people know your sound. Before when you actually were looking more, it's great to be inspired by others, as you say in the 90s. The same here, it's great to be inspired by others, but you want to be inspired, but you also want to be like authentically you at the same time. So I'm really glad that you actually kind of round that conversation up that way, that answer up that way.
There's a lot of power. I would even say that released a song a few years back called Africa, and it was basically kind of my my moment to uh, fully accept and acknowledge and embrace who I am. And then the lyrics of the song and everything. It's what launched everything that I'm doing right now. And I remember being at these shows, performing in Jersey, performing in New York, and everyone would go on, different artists would go on. But I remember once I get on stage and I perform this song and I'm closing my set, it changed the entire dynamic of the room, changed the entire dynamic of everybody, and energy wise, it was changing. And I felt like everyone killed it. Everyone came on the stage and did their thing. But in that moment, I was so much myself that you could not deny it, and everyone felt connected. And I remember some other people coming up to me after I left the stage talking about how they're from Africa. They loved it and referred to me as my brother and things like that. So it's just one of those things that reminds you if you are who you are and you truly embrace it and love who you are, love where you come from, people automatically just connect with that.
That's so incredibly true because the thing is that I'm noticing, like if I look back at any of my Monday motivations videos or any of my videos where I'm actually sharing a recipe, when I'm not authentically me, it falls flat. It literally falls flat. But because people, it's like a transfer of energy. I would like to
Mhm.
think of myself as an
Absolutely.
artist because I feel like artists actually we transfer energy. When you're on the stage, you're transferring energy when you're in front of the camera. So if I'm literally bringing to you like something, I really want to teach you something, or you're saying to people on stage with the mic, I really want you guys to feel these lyrics exactly where they come from and what how they impacted me. I want it to impact you. When people feel that, you can't fake that kind of feeling. So that's actually what makes you grow. So I love the fact that I feel like it just comes to anyone, no matter what industry you are in. When you tap into who you really are, I feel like you feel like the baggage before, you just kind of let that go. You don't really sweat the small stuff when that happens. And you find your audience. You literally find your audience. You don't have to like grasp for straws anymore. You literally find exactly where you're supposed to be.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Guys, if you're joining us, my name is Finda. I'm having a conversation with my brother. If you guys are watching this later, this is all about Thanksgiving, this whole series. I'm really, really grateful. Like this in the month of November, I'm bringing you guys every week. It's going to be a short, I would say a short series because I've been so busy behind the scenes, but I'm bringing you guys every week people that have really made an impact in my life for me to go from literally only 14 subscribers on YouTube to now over 300 and growing. So guys, I'm really grateful for that. If you haven't subscribed, please feel free to subscribe, click that subscribe button. I'm having a great conversation with my brother who's a genius when it comes to music. And his name is Tamba. This is amazing. And at the end of this conversation, you guys are going to know exactly where you guys can find him. And also, if you really are interested in his services, which you should be interested in his services, where you can also get his services. So, which is awesome. So, Tamba, speaking of your services, of gratitude, what does gratitude look like to you? How do you show gratitude in your life? And how do people show you that they're grateful for you?
Question. I mean, I feel like the one way that a lot of people show gratitude is through words, which is, obviously words are the basis of our, interactions, communications, and everything, which is great. But I feel like at the end of the day, it's really about giving back, giving. And that's why I feel like I'm in a place right now where it makes a lot of sense. You ever get to a point sometimes you're wondering, okay, am I doing what I'm supposed to be doing? Am I on the right path? But when things just align and you just find some peace, you find some balance, you find like you're not chasing anything, you're just moving at your own pace and everything. That's how you know that, okay, I'm good. I'm good. There may be days where I'm questioning things, doubting things here or there, but it's not as frequently as it used to be before. But I'm balanced. I'm pretty good. So for me, gratitude really goes back to actionable things. I going back home, when unfortunately when our father passed away, I got I got a strong understanding of who we are, who I am as a man, what I'm supposed to be doing, following a certain path. And being with with Sia, being with Sam, being with mom and seeing grandma and just being in the embrace of women, of aunties who raised me,
Mhm.
of these people who looked at me like, "Wow, you've made it! Wow!" And most of the time they weren't even saying anything; it's just a look. And I felt like I am so grateful. I am so grateful that I am able to be here and be reminded that, wow, you know, sometimes we get so stuck in our own path that we lose sight of all of our achievements because we're either constantly looking at a goal in front of us or just completely just, overwhelmed with everything going on around us that we forget that, oh, let me turn around for a second. That's how far I came. And once you do that and you're able to, like I said, I had the opportunity, unfortunately, the circumstances weren't, preferred going back home to bury our dad. But at the end of the day, it was still a blessing because I got an opportunity to turn around and look and then see all the faces, touch all the hands, get all the hugs, get all the embraces from people who kept moving me along. People, whether it's, looking after me, making sure I'm eating, making sure I'm clean, everything that's involved in that. Seeing the entire village, literally the entire village that was responsible to get me to where I am today as a man. I was grateful. And I think that actionable piece there is basically now me turning around and saying, all right, thank you all. Let me see what I can do to ensure that your blessings, your prayers, everything that you're going hard on every single day to make sure that I'm good, I'm fulfilling all that by basically giving back to whomever I interact with, because I know every step I take, every interaction I make, all these people are behind me. I'm representing all these people, all these faces, all these names, all this legacy, and I got to make sure that I do it the best way possible. I got to make sure I do right by dad. I got to make sure I do right by our people. So that's my definition of gratitude right now. It's really just realizing you're this one piece of this big puzzle, and everything you do represents this puzzle. So therefore, you have to do it. You have to do it the right way. You have to do right by everybody who's done everything for you.
That was a lot. It was so good what you just said, because you guys have heard the saying in, like, I would say, the Western world, it takes a village. Well, literally where we're from, it's literally it takes a village. Like, as you say, like, the aunts, the uncles, like everybody has a role to play. And it's really great when you look back. It's a little hard. I would say social media and Western world is great, but also it can be a little bit debilitating because you're constantly looking at other people and you're judging success based on what that you're seeing on the screen. But to me, I've learned that that's not what success looks for, like, for everyone. Success is, to me, it's like, as my brother just mentioned, that if you look back at the people, like, made sure that you were eating, people made sure that you were clean, people made sure that you had like good morals, and you don't, mortgage, my father would always say, don't mortgage your integrity for anything. People that made sure you didn't do that, you stayed authentically to you, and you see that whole village behind you, you have no other reason but to make sure you're winning every day, but to make sure, because you have a whole village behind you that's actually literally praising you, like we're so happy. And literally, like, where we come from, the smallest things, literally they're just grateful for. So it's such a great thing that, I'm doing the gratitude segment like this month, because I would say it was instilled in me. It was something that we all kind of grew up actually saying, like, something where we're grateful for everything else. My father actually used to tell me as a little girl, there's a song in the Methodist church. It says, count your blessings, name them one by one. Right. So if you're counting, as my brother just mentioned, as Tamba just mentioned, if you're counting all the things that have happened, because sometimes we tend to forget, as he said, we tend to forget how far we've come. But if you're counting them, you get to make, like, man, I did that. Man, look at how far I've come. But sometimes we get into that rut where we feel like things are not coming together, and we start actually losing faith, and we start actually feeling like, oh my goodness, I'm not where I'm supposed to be. But if you actually just keep going and seeing all how far you've come, you would be completely blown away. And I feel like that's why it's so imperative to have that gratitude as I would say, more of a hobby. I literally do it where I am literally finding ways to actually be grateful, because literally, as my brother said, it takes a village to put this whole picture that you guys are seeing together.
Some of my answers are probably gonna be a little long-winded because you know me, like there's a whole lot of wording and stuff that's involved there. Son of a preacher man, so sometimes you ask me something, I'm definitely gonna, give you something that sounds like a sermon, but I promise you, it's really just heartfelt, it's authentic. So
Yeah, absolutely. It was really good. Absolutely. So, guys, Tamba, where can we find you? It's funny because I'm actually calling him by his birth name. So yeah, I'm getting used to this. I'm getting used to it. There are a lot of, like, I'm definitely gonna have to create maybe a segment where you guys can actually meet the creative part of my family. As I said, I come from a very creative family. Like, literally, all of us have something that years ago we actually had a show we did together. We put our creative touch together, and it was so successful. So you see me every week. I come to you like twice a week as Empowered by Finda, but there's a massive, like, background behind me. People are literally like rooting for me. People are literally like editing my videos. He used to edit my videos in the beginning, but then I learned so many things how to do that. Like, I would send stuff to him. I would know that he has his own stuff to do with his own family, but he'll make sure my videos are on time. So it was like a lot. It's a lot. Like, now you guys are seeing how people are easy to find me on YouTube, but everything is because I have such a village that are supporting me. So, well, Tamba, where can people find you, and how are your services? Where can we actually also find your services?
social media, whether it's Instagram, whether it's TikTok, whether it's Snapchat, obviously Facebook, the legacy social media stuff there that most people may not really, dive into, and Twitter as well too. So on Instagram, Tambamusic official, I'm on there. TikTok, I believe, Stirred 1883, and Twitter, Tamba Canal Music. And on Facebook, I'm just Tamba. So it's basically searching that up, whether it's Tamba Music Official, Kana Music. Um, I would definitely say start with Instagram, because there's a link tree there and everything is connected. So if you get to my Instagram, get to that bio, there's a link tree there, and that's the launching point for everything. And it centralized a lot of my marketing push through Instagram, because that's a no-brainer right now, whether it's Instagram or TikTok. That's where a lot of things are happening as far as the audience I want to connect with. So definitely start off with Instagram, and you'll definitely be able to branch off and see the other areas that I'm currently being active in. And again, even with the through the link tree, you're going to be able to see everything and anything that I'm involved with. A lot of my videography is done by me. A lot of the editing, as you know, my sister's alluded to, done by me. I try to be a one-stop shop type of person, but it's because I've been able to, learn so much. For instance, our older brother Sam, genius photographer, genius videographer. The software that I use, literally, I don't have to buy because he's basically hooked me up. I guess nepotism in some degree there, if you want to talk about it that way. But that's really what it's about. It's about giving back, him giving me that opportunity, him giving me those resources, our older sister Sia, and a lot of influences, a lot of resources, and a lot of knowledge she gives me. But it all literally is, again, it's giving and then finding ways to give back. So my services and everything that are available out there, like I said, start from the link tree. You'll be able to pull so much from the music. And if you're interested in anything that I would be able to do, whether it's videography, whether it's, production aspect of things, or whether it's just, consultation, just reaching out, talking through and making sure that I take the knowledge I have, the experiences I have and sharing it. Because at the end of the day, it's not just about doing something for you. It's also about a conversation. One conversation can mean so much, can go a long way. So I'm available for, whether it's, slide in my DMs, as they say, and we can definitely talk and I can share whatever I have, any kind of gem. So I'm an open book and I'm available to talk to whomever, and because it's, reciprocal. So I look forward to tapping into everybody and, anyone reaching out, and we can just, start a conversation, start a connection.
That's amazing. Guys, he's being very modest. He's very accomplished in the indie world. As I said, I worked with him. Like, if I don't have like hours for us to sit down, really have
Yeah.
a conversation regarding everything we've done. Like, he's worked with some of the most amazing people, even like in the background, creating, I would say producing. So he's being very modest. But if you would see it as you see back behind him, like he lives and breathes creativity when it comes to music, literally. So if you're looking for something like any kind of music, any kind of thing when it comes to that, you want to definitely like connect with my brother, because he takes all of his clients and all of his projects so seriously, because that's his life, it's his passion. So I'm really grateful that I'm able to bring him here. As I said, I'm thankful that I have such a powerhouse of a background behind me that really helps me with this whole brand called Empowered by Finda Pikiwa. As I said, this my whole mission is to tell you guys that you don't have to be, it doesn't matter your age, it doesn't matter your background, your income. If you're truly are meant to do something, you put in the work, you actually can see the most amazing things would happen. Like the same thing happened for me. You guys know my story. Moved 2008 without anything except for $360. But where I am today, I look back, as my brother said earlier, you look back and you're blown away about how far you've come. I'm really grateful, guys. Also, my services. I have the nutrition consultation service. I also have the when it comes to personal speaking engagements that I actually will get once when I get other people to as well. And I also have products down below. Don't forget, actually, you could click all those links down below, and you're going to see all of the links that Tamba mentioned. I'm going to have all of these down below. You guys can follow him and just connect with him. And guys, thank you. As I said, everything starts with gratitude. When you actually show how grateful you are for the things you have, literally the world will be your oyster. Just other things just start really, really kind of come into place for you. So really, really thank you, guys. As I always say, don't forget that power moves to keep moving.
I'm on my best when I gotta be motivational reminder.